Can sound make things float? The science of invisible waves. Have you ever wondered if sound can actually lift or move objects? It sounds like science fiction, but this mind-blowing experiment will show you that sound waves are more powerful than we think. Today, we're rediving into the world of sound and vibration with an experiment that's going to surprise you and maybe even confuse your senses. We're going to make small objects levitate using nothing but invisible waves. Let's begin. First, let's talk about sound. You hear it every day. Music, voices, birds, alarms. But what is sound? Really, sound is a vibration. It travels in waves through the air, bouncing from molecule to molecule until it reaches your ear. But here's the fun part. Those invisible waves carry energy, and if used correctly, they can actually push or pull on tiny things. That's what we're about to explore. This experiment is called acoustic levitation, and while it sounds high-tech, we're going to understand the concept in the simplest way possible. What you'll need? A small speaker or a pair of computer speakers, a signal generator, a 3D printed or cardboard frame to hold the speakers facing each other, a few tiny pieces of styrofoam or polystyrene balls, patience and curiosity. If you're using a DIY approach, make sure your two speakers are directly opposite each other. They should face each other perfectly. This is key. Now let's understand what we're trying to do. When sound waves from one speaker hit waves from the other speaker, they collide. At certain frequencies, these waves cancel each other out. At specific points in space, these are called nodes. At the same time, areas in between, called antennae. These pressure points can actually hold very light objects in place like a sound-made trampoline for tiny things. This process is called standing wave formation, and when you place a small object right at a node, it can remain suspended mid-air, as if floating because the sound pressure holds it in place from both above and below. Isn't that amazing? Step by step. Step 1. Build your frame so the speakers are aligned face-to-face with a small gap between them, about 2 to 5 centimeters. Step 2. Connect your signal generator, or app, to the speakers. Start with a frequency around 40 kHz if you're using ultrasonic speakers, or try audible tones in the range of 3 to 5 kHz for basic observation. Step 3. Place a small styrofoam ball right in the middle and slowly adjust the frequency. You might see it bounce around a little first, but keep tweaking the frequency and suddenly, it starts floating. It looks like magic, but it's pure physics. At this point, you've created a standing wave pattern between the speakers. The ball is literally stuck in a pressure trap created by invisible sound waves. This is where science becomes art. Let's understand a bit deeper. Sound waves move the air molecules. When do waves meet? They can combine in such a way that they cancel out parts of their energy or amplify them. That's the basis of interference. In acoustic levitation, we use constructive and destructive interference to build stable pressure points. At those points, light objects can resist gravity, at least temporarily. It's like creating invisible pillars of pressure. And this doesn't just work in air. Scientists have done acoustic levitation experiments in zero gravity too. It's one of the techniques being explored for handling fragile materials in space without touching them. So why is this experiment important, besides just looking super cool? Because it teaches us about wave behavior, frequency, and resonance, the power of vibration. And it also helps us imagine future technologies. Imagine a day when we transport delicate objects without ever physically touching them, just using sound. In fact, engineers are already experimenting with acoustic tweezers for medical research. Some safety tips. Don't use high-volume sound close to your ears. If you're using ultrasonic components, don't operate them without knowing the safe frequency range. Always do this in a quiet, controlled environment. Before we wrap up, here's a bonus thought. If sound can push things, and light can also exert pressure, is it possible that, one day, we'll build entire machines that float without any contact just by riding invisible waves? Science isn't just about answers, it's about asking the most beautiful questions. If you loved this experiment and want to try more real-world physics at home, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're just getting started on this journey through everyday science that feels like magic. Drop a comment below. What's the weirdest or coolest science experiment you've ever seen? And remember, stay curious, stay creative, and never stop exploring. See you in the next experiment. Keywords used in script: acoustic levitation, sound waves, science experiment. Let me know if you want a version in Urdu or a shorts version as well.